Homeworthy. My name is Kim. Welcome to our home in North Carolina. Come on in.
You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story.
Hi, my name is Kim Dowdle. I live in Raleigh, North Carolina, and I am the owner of Plate and Plaid, a home decor business that I run directly here out of our home. My husband and I bought this home about 6 years ago. Our first home was rather small and we needed some more space. I drove by this house just about every day taking my kids to school, and actually from driving by it, I knew it was for sale, but it actually didn't appeal to me. Initially, the curb appeal wasn't great. There was grown over landscaping. It just didn't do a lot for me. But when we got serious about looking, I looked it up online and just loved the inside of the house. And this was the only house that we saw. The moment I walked in, I fell in love with it. The high ceilings and the archways, I just immediately loved it. So that was it. I would say this home is very traditional. I am definitely a maximalist. I like a lot of things and layers upon layers of them. It is definitely collected. I like piecing things together over time in our home, and a little eclectic and whimsical all at the same time. So that's how I would describe my style. I love a lot of pattern. I tend to lean towards blues and greens with, a pop of red or coral. I love masculine details. I love old things, antiques and vintage pieces. Just about everything in the home has a little bit of age to it, which is my favorite thing. So this is our family room. We spend most of our time in here. This is my favorite room in the house. I think it's cozy. It has the most in it, a lot of texture, a lot of chairs. My favorite thing in the room, probably a favorite thing in the house, is my art collection. I have been collecting these pieces for many years, and they are definitely some of my favorite. Most of them are antique or vintage. I love an oil painting with a seascape or a marsh scene. Those are for sure my favorites. We do have a couple that I love. This was our dog Rivers. He's been gone 4 years now, and a friend of mine, Wendy, out of Charlotte, the Painted Porch, she painted that for me, and I had it for quite a while. And when he passed away, I thought, oh my gosh, I've got to get that framed. So that's a really special piece. I love toy soldiers. You'll see a lot of them in our home. My dad's mother loved anything that had to do with England. And so she had a lot of those little tin soldiers around her home, and I think that they definitely left had an impact on me because I love them and I have them in a lot of places. So the sofa is nothing fancy. It's an IKEA Ektorp sofa. I love their sofas. I have 3 of them. We have one upstairs that we've had for almost 20 years, and they are the best. They're inexpensive. I have bought several different slip covers for them. This is just a plain neutral, but gosh, Amazon has them in velvet. You can find all different colors. So I love the fact that you can change the slip covers because I have kids and a dog and they get quite messy. This coffee table here is one that I purchased actually to sell. I went and picked it up and fell in love with it, and it's small, but I feel like with all the furniture we have in the room, it definitely fits where it needs to be. And I love, obviously, books on the coffee table, like usually a piece of artwork, something seasonal, flowers. These are actually faux flowers that I love. Basket. There's some nicks and, some areas where the paint has chipped off, but I love it. So here it is. I love a skirted table. This is actually a fabric that I bought for myself, and then eventually my mom used it in her home, and I actually made some window treatments for her. But I love it because it goes with everything. I love a gingham. Every room in this house has at least one gingham or plaid in it. So I actually made this myself. It's not fully sewn on the back, but you can't see that. And I added some fringe to the bottom. These chairs up here in the corner, I just actually recovered these myself. I bought these in Raleigh and fell in love with them. They were green and white gingham, and it was a silk material, and while they were beautiful, the silk was starting to sort of wear out. So I found this fabric and recovered them myself. They are you know, a lot of hot glue and a staple gun, but it's a much easier, cheaper way to have the furniture you want to do it yourself. So this is where my shell box collection starts. I have lots of different seashell boxes, which is one of my favorite things to collect. And I love them here in the spring and summer months. I think they go well with the gingham. I've got some old ones. This is actually a customer of mine that was one of the first people to ever buy from me. She started making shell boxes, and I bought one from her last year and love it. It's special because I know she made it. One of my favorite things, which I have to get this out, it's my best friend, one of my best friends and oldest friends, Leah Patgorski. She does, she's an artist and she does some really cool things. It's very contemporary, which is not my style, but I love it in here. The colors are perfect, and she's just so talented and really special to me. So I love this piece. It's one of my favorites. One of my favorite things in the house is this rug here. I actually bought this rug before we moved into the house. I got a crazy good deal on it. And I just love the colors. And to me, a rug is the best way to start a room. You find a rug you love, and then you try and mimic the colors that are in the rug, use those colors. And then obviously, you know, I've got some other colors that aren't in it, but to me, it's a great way to start a room and to help you figure out what colors to add. The fireplace was original to the house, a 90s mantle, but I love it. I love the molding and the geometric details. I did paint this not too long ago. I have a friend that painted her fireplace this color, and I sort of went crazy. I painted it and then ended up painting the whole wall. But they've got some medallions that I added to it that I found and just glued those on. It is a wood burning fireplace. We use it quite a bit in the winter months. So this is a piece that I bought several years ago that I just felt that's definitely one of my favorite pieces. Black piece of furniture is such a great way to add warmth to a room. So this definitely does that. It's covered in some more shell boxes. This little guy is my favorite. It's unusual to find one of a dog. I actually think it's a bank, but I fell in love with him. He's one of my favorites. People ask me all the time if he's for sale, and it's always no. The mirror is really special. So I bought this mirror maybe 15 years ago. A furniture store was having an after Thanksgiving sale, and it was like $50. So I ran up to the furniture store. They were completely out of it. They had one in Winston-Salem, which is about 2 hours from here. So I hopped in the car, went to Winston-Salem. By the end of the day, when I purchased the mirror, I think it was like $2.58 because I had all these coupons. And I get more comments on this mirror than just about anything in the house. It's been painted 3 times. So it was black, then I painted it navy, and it's gold, and I think it will probably stay gold for the rest of its life. I usually have art layered on a table, and then I had dried hydrangeas in this. I love dried hydrangeas, they're everywhere. But I decided I wanted to do something a little more summery. So I do tend to change things out for the seasons, and also it's something that I look at quite a bit and I get, tired of things, so I will move things out. One thing I think people have a hard time, if you have something you really love, people don't want to put it away, but it's really okay if you have something you love to put it in a cabinet for a couple months and then bring it back out. It makes things a little more interesting, and I love just redoing tables and redecorating the house all the time. It's what I love to do, so I don't mind doing it. But yes, this changes out frequently, 5 or 6 times a year. I love, obviously, oil paintings and prints, but I also love anything with a crest on it. This was something that I bought before we moved into the house, and it isn't our initial, but I just absolutely loved it, and love it above the doorway. Antlers, I love those mixed in. Museum bees are definitely a popular thing, and beautiful that are mixed in. A friend gave me that. I love sailboats behind glass, anything like that you can stick on a shelf that you love. But yes, I like a lot of texture and unique objects, things that I really love. I like here on the wall. Now we are in the sunroom. This room here is definitely another favorite. My son loves this room. This is a room he spends a lot of his time in. I definitely wanted to do a fun wallpaper in here. I've always loved this wallpaper, even though it's really bold. It is actually a very classic wallpaper. Quadrille, a Valley High, I think is the name of it. So These bookcases I bought and painted them. I wanted bookcases in here. The moment we moved in, I knew that I wanted them, so they weren't built in. But we did them, and I painted them the same color as the mantle in the family room. I love a lot of books and bookshelves. I like books to be the main thing, and then just have little things sprinkled in, of course. This is an old piece I found. I believe he's a Cavalier. I fell in love with him, and he works well here on the bookcases. I've got blue and white, of course, one of my favorite things. Plaid books are something I collect. I have quite a bit of those. So it's just scattered with just things that I love. So this piece here, I found this locally and fell in love with it. I love miniatures, miniature little houses and things like that. But I just fell in love with it. The roof. It's very whimsical. Sometimes I will put a piece of art or a little sailboat or something in it, but it's definitely a great way to bring the reds into the room, just a little pop of red. So that's one of my favorite things. A lot of people ask about that piece. The furniture I picked out for this room, again, I love gingham. It's in every room in the house. These are actually from Target, and I love them. I love the green. I like to have plenty of seating for when people come over, and so everyone has a seat to sit in. This table, I love to do puzzles. My kids make fun of me and say I'm a nerd, but I love to do puzzles. This originally was bought for me to just put my puzzles on it. But just like any other piece of furniture in this house, I can't just have one thing sitting on it. So I decided I'd move the puzzle upstairs and put some things on it that I love. Piece of artwork, and these I love. Like I said, I love miniatures, and I love this little old house. It's in pretty rough condition. Plants are always a must in here, in any room. Lots of plants. Another IKEA sofa. This is the Ecatorp. They don't make it anymore, but love seat. And I did a green velvet on it. I just thought it was perfect for this room with the trees and the wallpaper, a hint of green. Green here, and it's comfortable, very comfortable. These stools are another favorite of mine. I bought these locally, and they're perfect for this room. I thought I might sell them when I went to pick them up, but when I got them in the car, I realized I just couldn't let them go. So they're comfortable, and I think they look pretty cool in here. So this mirror has moved around quite a bit. I had it in the foyer for a while. Then I had it in our kitchen. I love the windows, but we get so much light in here. We have so many windows that I thought this would be the perfect spot for it. I actually bought this from a friend of mine, a local interior designer. A lot of people ask me about this pillow and ask me it's for sale, and it's not, because I love it. And I have a very good friend, Kimber, who actually does some shopping for me. She loves to go to thrift stores daily, and she finds things for me. And this was something that she picked up, and it's just so cute. And it's, I'm not a person that likes words on things, I'm not big on that, but this is just, I think, perfect for this room and this house. So, and it's special because a friend got it for me. This vintage cabinet, I think it's an antique actually. I bought this again at the beach, fell in love with it. I had it in the kitchen and then moved it here. And what I've done is I have added, my collection of toy soldiers to it. This is sort of an homage to my grandmother. It has, my soldiers in it. I have some sheep. I've got the British flag, and then a 76 American flag. My grandmother had a lot of these little English cottages in bookshelves, and so if I see one out that I really love, I'll grab it and put it up here with the others. So it's just a collection of little things that I love, and it's sort of fun to look in there some days and more whimsy, I guess you could say. This piece here, I bought this at a local antique store, and a lot of people ask me about this. I love it. They had 3 of them, and I wish now I had bought more. But I think it has a rod in the back, so I think it was used for window treatments. But again, it's whimsy. It is just, there's something about it that, I don't know, makes you feel happy and feels, something like from your childhood. I like anything that has sort of a circus tent, those sorts of things. Folly, I guess you would call it. So I love this. This is another one of my favorites. Now we are in our foyer. When we moved into this home, I wanted a foyer. Our last home did not have one. And it's a pretty decent sized area, and I've got, as usual with every room, I have a lot of things in here. This chair here is from a friend I bought locally. I love the pop of color, the red in the same sort of design, although I think this is a Brunswick and Fee. This is one of my favorite pieces of art my husband gave me for a birthday or anniversary. I always love to have fresh flowers and a lamp, of course. This table here, I actually have two of these, and I love them. I bought these when my children were little and they were in car seats, and we had a sedan. I still do not know how I got two of them in the car. One was in the trunk and the other was situated in the back seat. So there's a funny story behind them, and I love them. Again, lots of layering. This is a giltwood shelf that I found online that I filled with coral. This coral stays out all year. I just love this shelf. My tortoise boxes, I have quite a collection of those as well. Most of them came from Europe. This is also a gift I got for Christmas. They're made to order. And I've actually got Elvis in here. I loved Elvis Presley. This is a little bust that I have of him. And I just stuck him in here with a little piece of, I think that's seagrass or something in here. I love this. No pop of color here in this front area. This area here, I had a bench. We really don't use this very often. We come in mostly through the garage, but I feel like a bench was a nice change up here. The umbrella stand, one of my favorite designers who's passed away, Charles Fawdry, had one of these in his books, and I always thought if I ever saw one I would grab it, so I did. It actually has broken, but I've glued it back together, and most people wouldn't notice it. That's another thing. If you have something you really love and it breaks, try and find a way to glue it back together, because a lot of people won't notice. But it's full of canes and cool umbrella. I love Mary Poppins. I've got a Mary Poppins umbrella in here, and a fox. So a lot of those, this is one of these things we'll be able to use several years from now. This painting is one of my favorite things. I found this a couple years ago, and it was when I had redone our dining room, which I'll show you all a little bit later. And the colors, I wanted to bring the two rooms together. Found this and fell in love with it. The paint has chipped quite a bit. I had someone tell me that it was going to be ruined in the bright light, and I thought, well, if it's ruined, it's ruined. It's one of my favorite paintings, and the colors are beautiful. My faith is very important to me, and so it just was the perfect piece for the entry. One of the very first things that I noticed when we saw the home was the high ceilings. And I actually had been in the house a couple months and hadn't even realized that the ceilings were significantly higher. But when we walked in, that was the first thing I noticed, how open it was. And the archways as well. We actually know the people that built the house. They live in the neighborhood, and they said that this was something different than some of the other homes in the neighborhood, that it's something that they wanted, and it just opens up the space. It's definitely one of my favorite things about this house. The stairwell is nothing very fancy. I would eventually like to change these banisters out into something a little bit larger, but there also isn't a lot of room. A friend of mine who's an interior designer, she has a leopard runner on her steps. It's very bold, but also a pretty classic thing. Knew that I wanted that. Found the runner that I wanted. It was pretty expensive, and I knew that I could purchase the runner, but might not be able to pay to have it installed. So I actually did the carpet myself with some staples, a little rug pad. It actually was a pretty easy job, and I just love the way it looks. It goes with everything. Leopard's definitely a neutral, and goes with everything. When we moved into the home, I noticed this not long hallway, but a large wall space, and it seemed weird to put a bunch of little things there. So I was looking for a screen, and I found this locally and paid a great price for it. I love the colors on it. It's definitely hand painted, and it just goes perfect and takes up the wall without being overpowering, and love the way it looks. So growing up, I was exposed to a lot of antiques. Both of my grandmothers and my mother all loved old things. I like to say, it doesn't sound as good as antiques. My father's mother, my grandmother, loved anything that had to do with English. So her home was full of things sort of like mine, and I definitely think that I sort of took that in and has influenced me. My other grandmother was very much a DIY person, made her own frames. You know, she'd find a print that she loved and she'd frame it. I did not think that I would be able to do this for a living, but I am just, sometimes it's hard to believe that it is actually a job because I love it so much. Shopping is one of my favorite things to do, and being able to go out and treasure hunt and find really cool things for people and to be able to resell them, it's really a dream come true, to be honest. So I love doing it and didn't think that I would be lucky enough to be able to. So now we are in the dining room. Very moody room. A lot of color, a mural that I fell in love with online. I wanted a mural in this room. It was initially a light green chinoiserie, and I wanted something a little more moody. So it's a peel and stick wallpaper I did myself, and once I put the wallpaper up, it sort of gave way to new furnishings in the dining room, colors that I wanted to bring out of the wallpaper. I bought the chairs when we first moved in online, loved the chairs. I've had maybe 2 or 3 different dining tables in here, and found this one in Greensboro. It was white. It was the first time I ever officially refinished a table, but I love the fact that it matches the chair. So like I said, it was white. I stripped all the paint and did a dark stain on it, and love the way it looks with the chairs. The table, I used some of my favorite plates. I love Blue Willow. That's one of my favorite patterns, and I use it all throughout the year. The cabbageware, I like the table to match the room. You wouldn't see me use a lot of pink. Even though I love pink, I wouldn't use much pink in here. I like things to match the colors around you. I used my bamboo silverware that I have. I also have this in green that I use often, and some orange napkins to bring out the orange in the wallpaper, and just some sort of goblets that have almost like an amber glass color, but that same orange that brings out the colors in the room. When we do entertain, I like things to be pretty, but I also like them to be casual. I don't want anyone to feel uncomfortable or, you know, they know that's not my husband and my style. We're very laid back, casual people. So I like to have pretty things, but I like people to feel comfortable. They can just grab food from the kitchen, fill their plates. This room usually acts a lot as a bar. When we have people over, we usually have food in the kitchen, because if you have kids, and people that come over usually have kids, and then set things up as a bar in here. And I like things to be pretty. I love flowers are a big thing for me. I like to have lots of flowers around. Pretty dishes that match sort of the theme. If it's in the wintertime, I'll use plaid dishes or something a little more fancy. Then in the summer months, I like to use, you know, the blue and white, the cabbage in the springtime. So it just depends on the time of year, but we're very casual when it comes to entertaining and having people over. This cabinet here is very heavy. It's something that I wanted for this room. I thought the red would look really great in here. Went and picked the cabinet up, realized it was way too big for my SUV, so I had to rent a U-Haul and go back and get it. It was worth it. It was a great price. And when you open the doors, it's a bar. I use this often for when we entertain, and I do use it for staging some of my home decor, a lot of bar items. What's really cool about this piece is that it has this, which I will not show you what's in here because it's a bit of a mess, but this opens up and there's a ton of storage down there. So I have, you know, different decanters. I have Christmas silver that I use. I've got like a Christmas Santa that I use, and, you know, Christmas dishes that are in there. These mint julep glasses are my mother-in-law's that she gave to me. They need to be shined up. I'm embarrassed. They've got quite a bit of patina on them, but they're beautiful. Those are really special. And keep the wine in here, the liquor, obviously. I've got some Angelica plates in here. And just fun when people come over, we can open up these doors and, you know, fix things up so people can grab what they want. But yeah, I love that it can be storage when you need it to be, and you can hide things back in here, but it can also be opened up and used functionally as a bar. Recently I found this column here and I thought it was so regal and would just make anything attractive in a room. This pheasant I found online, we have named him Chester. He moves throughout the house. Sometimes he's in the family room, sometimes he's in here, but he's just an absolute beautiful bird, his colors and everything. So he's sort of a little joke around the house, but we like to name things, and his name is Chester. So this is a William Shakespeare depiction. It was another thing I went to pick up that I thought I would sell and got him home and couldn't let him go. I think he looks perfect in this room. And we've got another lady over here. If you can tell, she's pretty beat up. The paint's chipped. That never stops me from buying something. She's got a little bit of blue and she just blends in great with this room. This guy I just bought recently. He's sort of in an odd spot, but I just think he's so cute. The orange goes with the house. And we have called him, we've named him Leroy. So he's a little snooty. He doesn't look like he'd be a Leroy, but that's just what I picked. So we like him. This chandelier, I've had several in this room, and the first one I had was a crystal chandelier. I found this actually at Habitat thrift store, and it was a steal, and I just thought it was so pretty. So I got it home. I had to buy a few crystals for it. Our electrician installed it. Put the shades on it. I love the shades have a orange tone underneath them, so it picks up the colors in the room. And sometimes I'll take them off. I've changed them up. I've done red at Christmas time, but it's a really striking, light fixture, and you can change it up depending on the event or what the time of year is. So the thing I love most about this home is the way the house is set on the ground. So in the front of the house, it's level. But in the back, it's up high. So we're sort of on a hill. And I love that we're surrounded by trees. You get towards the back of the house and you feel like you're in a tree house, which is definitely my favorite thing about this home. So this is our kitchen. This is one of the rooms that needed some work when we moved in. It had the 90s granite countertops that I wasn't crazy about. I was dying to change them and decided that I would just find a way to do it without spending a lot of money. So I painted these countertops. My husband and I did it this winter. We used an epoxy kit that you buy online, and I love the way it turned out. It looks like a marble, but it isn't, and it will sort of get us through until we can actually afford to get new countertops. But all of us did you take a little brush and you brush in the gold and the gray, and we all, my son and my daughter and my husband, we all did a little gray streak so that we were all involved. But it was a really pretty easy project, and it really transformed this kitchen and brightened things up. The gray cabinets were here when we moved in. They were new. They need a new face, but overall they look pretty good. And I love the natural light in here, the tall ceilings. I've had curtains here at one time and took them down. I tend to like it without anything except for this wreath. I always have to have something on a wall or window. I love the light fixtures in this room are my favorite. There's this old copper piece with some black wrought iron that I love. This is a chandelier. I love a lantern style. The applique above it, so this was a fluorescent light when we moved in, and we took the fluorescent light down and hung this, but we were left with two big patches that we did not successfully cover. So my friend had found this out shopping, so I decided that it would be great to put this up to hide the holes, and it worked out really well. I think it's perfect for this room because this room is rather large. Painted it. It wasn't a super easy project, but it definitely has transformed the space. So I like a kitchen. I love a French style in a kitchen. I wanted to be sure that it was brightened up and white, but also had a lot of warmth. So I added this bookcase. This was something I bought on Amazon. Painted it and added some legs to it. I love cows. I collect cows. I just found this piece. This is really neat. I have to show this to you guys. I found this last week out shopping. but it's an old, I guess like an old, it's supposed to be an old rooster cage. And you open it and there's a rooster that comes out. But I just thought he was really neat. Again, another miniature and perfect for a kitchen. So I just added some books. Again, I like grouping the same color books together. So there are a lot of white books that pick up on the colors of the room. These little pieces are something I get a lot of comments on. I bought these from a friend. They used to use those and they would add a glass jar over it to show you what the item was. So those are a favorite thing. Hydrangeas I love all year long, but especially this time of year, they're easy to find in just about any hardware store, garden center. Trader Joe's has them. I just love the blue color in here, and it adds a lot of warmth to the room. I did what you call a faux bois on the walls here, which is a fancy way of saying fake wood in French. But I did a white base and then I painted over it with a beige color. And then I used a tool on the walls to make it look like faux wood. And this is just something that I just did. One of my favorite designers used this a lot in homes, and I just fell in love with it. So I knew I wanted to do it. So I did it all over this room. This taller area, there are a lot of blue and white. I have tons of it, and some of it I do not want to get rid of, but I just stick them in cabinets. So I was a little bit lazy and didn't want to finish painting the top part of this room. So I put plates and my little blue and white collection up there to hide it. So now everyone knows, but that's why those are up there. And I love copper in a kitchen. Copper adds so much warmth to a room. And this horse I found at a flea market, I think, I love him up there. He's one of those things I don't think I'll ever change. And then this area over here, I love Delft tiles, but it would take quite a bit of time and money to collect them. So I found this wallpaper on spoon flour and put it behind the oven. And I love the texture of it, and it just brings so much depth to this area. And it was super easy and inexpensive to install it. But it gives you the Delft tile look without the time and money to put the tiles up. Another thing in the kitchen that we love is this cuckoo clock. I had wanted one for years, and my mom bought it for me for Christmas. One year I told the kids it will be a family heirloom. It's one of those things I forget to wind up, which is crazy. It's right here in front of me, but it's a beautiful little thing. I love it. I love the sound of it and always think about my mom when I look at it. So it's pretty special. Another thing I love about this kitchen is the breakfast nook we have here. This is the table that we sit at the most. I wanted a drop leaf barley twist table, and that was what I had in mind that I wanted here, and that's what I found. I love it. It's a beautiful table, and I think it goes along with that French theme. This is a dresser that I found locally that I love. It's perfect in this room, I think. These are another thing that I have in the home that I love, that I used to see in books and magazines, and have a lot of people ask me about these as well. These are dairy slabs, and I actually just recently broke the pure butter, which was really upsetting because this is one of my favorite things, but I glued it back together. It's hard to tell unless you look really closely. This clock here, a friend of mine is an interior designer, and I worked for her for several months. She had this clock in her showroom, and I absolutely loved it. And she gave me a great deal on it. It's one of my favorite things. A lot of people ask about it, but it just works perfect in this room. This area also, my favorite Staffordshire dogs I've had for years. I don't have a lot of these dogs, but these are my favorite ones. They're definitely the real thing. They've got some chipped paint on them, but that doesn't bother me. I love little details like this. I found this bird's nest. It's not an actual bird's nest, but it looks like one not too long ago in a shop, and I just love filling that with flowers. It's definitely very springy and brings a lot of, prettiness to the table. I also have more dried hydrangeas, which I love. I love hanging baskets. I'm not sure where that came from, but I love hanging baskets with dried hydrangeas. This is probably, I keep saying favorite. I have a lot of favorites here. This might be my favorite painting I found at the beach, and it reminds me of Manio, North Carolina, which is a town that I love. And so that's in here, and the colors to me are perfect. This centerpiece here is rather large. It's a swan, which you can see. I picked this up in Asheville, North Carolina on one of my shopping trips and just thought it was beautiful with flowers. These are actually faux hydrangeas. I was going to do an arrangement with them, but these are so realistic. I just thought they looked great in here. And it's really beautiful. I don't know that I'll leave it up all year. It'll be quite a bit to store it, but I love it this time of year, the spring and summer. So it takes up a lot of space, but I think it is definitely a focal point here in the kitchen. So this is our backyard, our very large deck that we spend a lot of time out here in the spring and summer. This area here is where we would eat. If we did eat dinner out here, we do spend some time eating dinners out here in the spring and summer before the bugs get too bad. That's the thing. I love the trees and all the shade, but we do tend to get a good amount of mosquitoes here. These boxes were built into the deck when we moved in, which was really great because you can just throw the plants in there. The backyard, we need some work and there's a lot of shade, so it's a perfect way to have some plants that I can water and look at and see regularly with, it's pretty easy install. One thing about this too is that all the blue and white that I have, some of it I can put out here. The sun doesn't fade it too much, rain doesn't bother it, so it's great for putting pieces out here that I'm not sure where else to put them. This area is where we spend most of our time. These lounge chairs are perfect. They're really comfortable. We spend a lot of time here. My daughter has started laying out here to get some sun. I love plants. These remind me so much of my grandmother. I love having them out here. They do well in the shade and they tend to keep all summer long. I just found these really cool metal trees. I have 4 of them, and while I think they're supposed to be inside, I love them out here, and they'll get a really cool patina over time. This area here we have a solo stove that we use, is sort of back here in the corner, that we use occasionally, but it really is the perfect place to spend time outside amongst the trees. This is one of the things that really attracted me to the house, was feeling like we were in a tree house. So now we are in the room we call the bonus room. This has a lot of blue and white, very much Ralph Lauren theme, a very masculine room. My husband works here and my son spends a lot of time up here, so it seemed the thing to do to make it a very masculine, dark room. With lots of animal print, love red, white, and blue, some flags mixed in, and some soldiers, military type things, sailboats, that sort of thing. Seemed like the perfect spot for all of those masculine items. So this room acts as a guest room as well. This bed right here is mostly used. My son's best friend spends the night. This is his bed. We call it Wit's bed because he's the one that spends the night and sleeps here the most. It's great because it's an extra place to sit down and watch TV or rest. If one of us isn't feeling well, we can come in here and lay down, but it's mostly for Wit when he spends the night. This area here is where I just recently started this collection, which I need another collection, like a hole in my head, but these are original macaronis is what they're called. So they originate out of Williamsburg, which I grew up about an hour outside of Williamsburg and visited there quite a bit as a kid. So that part of it is neat. But they feature, I believe, 50 different macaronis, and each one has sort of a cool, interesting name. There's something about vintage prints and men that have on fancy costumes, uniforms, and funny hats. I love that for some reason. I'm not sure where that came from, but I have several of them, and I have them mixed in with some other soldier prints that here, but I plan to add to these. But I just think they're fun, and they definitely go along with the vibe of the room. I love a sailboat in a room. This one I found at the beach and fell in love with it. I love this style, and even though it's in front of the window and will probably fade quite a bit, I just loved it here. This is actually a toy room. My youngest is 11, and he is growing out of toys, sadly, but we do have some stored in chests and closets. So in rooms like this, my favorite thing is our baskets and pretty chests that you can put things in and hide them when you have company. This is probably the favorite part of the room when you walk up the steps. I love that this is sort of the first thing you see when you come upstairs. I love a red, white, and blue theme, obviously. This console table is actually a Ralph Lauren console table that I bought at the beach for almost nothing. I didn't realize it was Ralph Lauren. I got it home and looked at it, and there's a tag under it. So that's definitely a prized possession and great find. A lot of these, the ducks, I just fell in love with. All the artwork up here were, to me, very masculine pieces. 64, I grew up in Virginia, and 64 is a road that I drive on quite a bit, traveling back and forth and where I grew up. And so this is just a mix and mash of toy soldiers. Like I said, I love to collect. I love these old drums, more of the ships. This is a really cool box I found online. It has the Royal Palace Guards at the top. You can see the scene underneath it, and I just love little things like this. So these all sort of blend together and make for a neat table display. The best thing that someone can tell me is that our home is cozy. If someone tells me, oh my gosh, I feel so at home here, your home is so warm and I feel comfortable, that's number one for sure. A home for me is a place that you feel cozy and warm and is full of things that you love. To be able to look at, a piece of furniture that you found out shopping with your mom, or a piece of artwork you picked up at a flea market for very little money that you just fell in love with. I love having stories behind things. Whenever I go on a trip, I try and find things that I love so that, I always have that and remember that that special moment with my family or with friends. But to me, it's surrounding yourself with things that you love and things that have a story behind them.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to go to homeworthy.com for exclusive content, shopping guides, and so much more.